such an important gathering, happening here on our soil that has to do with the environment. And myself being a long-term advocate for the environment, I felt that there was a need for me to be here and be part of it. And then coincidentally too, I have had an opportunity to work with the UN as a whole, and then also the United Nations Environmental Program too. I worked with Eric and the team last year during World Environment Day in Canada. And we got opportunities to travel around, Canada, working with the Minister of Environment, and then also we ended up meeting President Trudeau in the process, So the environment has been a very important part of my advocacy too, and coincidentally too, we are being designated as a goodwill ambassador for Africa. So everything, so it's like a coincidence of great things to also ignite the next stage that I'm going with my activism. So it's a good time to be here, and I'm honored.
So tell us, why are you inspired by the environment? Why is it important for you?
The most important thing is the place where we live, the earth, the land, the place that gives us life, the place that nurtures and supports life. And it's also something that everybody agrees that if you have a healthy environment, one way or the other, results in a healthy community, and for communities to thrive too, you have to make sure too that you take care of the environment so that there is, a sort of harmony, that's going on. And I feel that every human being, because this is an important part of our legacy, it is important for us all to make an effort to make sure that our actions positively impacts the environment. And if there is anything that we are doing that negatively impacts it, we have to make sure we correct it. So drawing attention to our responsibility and creating a sense of vigilance and a sense of dedication and a sense of focus and awareness, for me, is a key thing, And then being a musician and having a platform too, and, as a person who grew up with community empowerment as a key point of my activism, I felt that this important aspect of our human, survival constantly needs certain champions. And so it's become a big aspect of, what I do. I come from northern Ghana, so sometimes I'll go visit my family there, and it will be in the dry season, and you'll find out that, during the farming season, most people cannot go to farm because they were stricken by guinea worm. The guinea worm was from polluted waters, So there was a need for, people to sound the alarm. But if you come from a place that is like depressed and they don't have the opportunity to articulate what is going on, usually issues like this get slid under the attention of the nation. So there was an innate part of me that always wanted to make sure that if I see things everywhere, to bring it to light and also create a medium by which I can bring various partners who can help solve that issue, shed light, bring those partners together to try and find a solution to it, So when my music took off too, music for me is a means by which you can bring people together. The melody, through melodies, through lyrics, through the opportunity to engage an audience, the opportunity to also bring people to a space of happiness and oneness, it provides an opportunity to also, one way or the other, draw attention to issues. So I had the musical part and I also had the activism part. And for me, they kind of complemented each other. And sometimes too, I needed the activism part in order for me to validate the words that, because my music, my lyrics are about that. They're about empowerment. They're about setting our standards on the highest ideals. So I needed to also feed that within my soul. And so the activism and the work, one way or the other, also help me so that my words ring very true when I speak them.
Great, amazing. And so who would you say are your influences when it comes to your music? Or who inspired you, or maybe even give us a bit of a background of your musical history?
Well, coming from Ghana, traditional Ghanaian music, we call it high life. High life music was everywhere, because, in our traditions, in our culture, there is an importance of, even in the griot tradition, music was used for storytelling. Music was used to, one way or the other, encapsulate, like, ideas and concepts that were going on in the culture, and sometimes to also preserve the history. So for me, that became one element of, and then as I grew up in my, in terms of my worldview, people like Bob Marley, Fela Kuti, because they were using their music for social change and also drawing attention to important issues. Statesmen like Nelson Mandela, Mohandas Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Kwame Nkrumah, Haile Selassie, founding fathers of Africa who believed in bigger ideals of Africans, coming into our own and, empowering our own selves were very important in terms of the intellectual and philosophical aspect of, my influences. So, and then every day I meet a lot of great people, because some of even the most important influences, apart from these iconic figures, are the people that I meet.
Nice.
The great conversations that I have, the travels, the cultures, the exposure, all of these, because I see myself, although I'm Ghanaian and African, I also see myself as a global citizen. And the most important thing is also to be open to learn, because that is how we all grow. And I feel that I have become, my perspective and my life and my music and my activism has become enriched because of this approach.
Great. Wonderful. Okay, so what concerns you most about the state of the planet then, in terms of your activism? Just all around, like in general, what's the thing that concerns you most about the state of our...
Well, first of all, I think the most important thing is the environment.
Okay.
Because in our quest, for development and, every nation's intention to advance, one way or the other, one thing that gets sacrificed is the environment.
Yeah.
Beautiful forests are cut down because there's a need for, first of all, let's say in the local setting, charcoal, so forests are cut because we need the energy. You have, pristine forest roads, when roads are made, taken down because, people need to make, roads in there for development, their waterways, the mining practices, some of our pristine sources of water get polluted because we need to also create money from all these extractive industries in order to, help our economies advance. So for me, I think that the march to development, one way or the other, there's a big price that is being paid for that. And that is a big concern for me. And right now we're dealing with the product of that, like deforestation, climate change, the plastic issue in the oceans, which are all due to the actions of humans, So I am definitely very, that concerns me, that there needs to be a change in our attitude. There needs to be a rethinking of how we engage the world. There needs to be the change of the narrative. There needs to be a paradigm shift for us to now consider our actions and see if our actions are in harmony with the overall health of the earth. Because it's our only home, and the only home that we know. Right. And so for me, that is really the most important thing.
Cool. So in terms of the future, are you hopeful?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. The human journey is about, we are a resilient species.
Right.
you know. Although right now we look, you know, as I was alluding earlier, to our practices, and we see that so many species are extinct, and the extinction is still going on.
Right.
There needs to be a big change, both from on the ground level, you know, a lot of indigenous people, you know, we don't have them contributing meaningfully to the affairs of the world. You know, it's only a certain group of people who are, you know, dictating the affairs and the direction of the world without taking into consideration, you know, the aspirations of everybody. You know, but I think that within all these problems, which have always been part of the human, I also believe in the power of humanity to also aspire to the greater good. You know, and I think that within all of us lies that amazing spark. And it is about people accessing that. And some of us are operating in that space because we believe that we can, you know, although all these issues are man-made, and some of these issues come from, you know, greed and the intention to seize power and the intention to control resources, you know, at the expense of others, that within that we can evolve a beautiful brotherhood of man and women that can come together and also push the world into a new paradigm of cooperation, partnership, focus on the environment, consciousness, harmony, and justice for everybody.
Great. Yes, I hope we do go in that direction.
Yes, we will.
Yes,
yes.
we will, and why not?
We have no other
Well,
option.
Yes.
Yes.
We have no other option, very right. So you're headlining the concert tomorrow evening, right? You're going to be closing the forum.
Yes.
You want to tell us a bit more about what we have, what we looking forward to?
Well, you know, for me, music is about bringing people together. It's about, you know, celebrating. You know, although we're talking about very heavy things and important things and responsibilities that require us to get out of our comfort zones and go out there, the beautiful thing is that we're always able to also celebrate each other. You know, and I feel that everybody that is here as part of the forum, we all came here with an intention, and our intention is to be champions and ambassadors of making this planet a better place, for not only for ourselves but for all of humanity. You know, empowering indigenous people's voices, bringing, you know, and that's what the forum is about, bringing everybody together, you know, to preserve, be on the side of Mother Earth. So the concert is going to be about inspiring this and celebrating at the same time that, you know, once you know, birds of the same feather, we find ourselves together. We have to celebrate that opportunity, inspire each other, because from here, we all have to go to our various spaces and become those champions and bring that light. So tomorrow's concert will be celebrating, you know, enjoying the moment, singing, jumping around, having a good time, and also setting our course perfectly towards upholding the greater good.
That's great. That's wonderful. Wonderful. I think we've asked all the questions. Unless you think there's something else important that you'd like to add, a message for the youth or for the
yes.
We have this opportunity, you know, to.
You know, my message for the youth is that and when I say the youth, I don't mean the youth meaning young people. The youth means humanity. I think youthfulness is an attitude. Youthfulness is the attitude to be a key part of, a vibrant key part of the human story, the human experience. You know, so my message to the world and the youth is that we have a great opportunity to recraft the history of the world and become that generation that did the shift. The shift, by which the shift I mean that we shifted from being a species that constantly took from the earth to a species that gave back to the earth. So one way that I feel that can be tangible, that I feel could be an incredible thing, is that I just want to put a challenge for everybody who is listening to me, that we all have to plant a tree. Everybody has to plant a tree for themselves.
Nice.
And I think if everybody takes up that challenge and plant a tree that is dedicated to themselves, it will be incredible to see how many trees and how much we contribute proactively to re-flourishing this beautiful home that we call Earth.
Perfect. So I will. I will
Yes.
plant a tree for you.
That's
Definitely,
one
yes.
right
That's
there.
that's
One
tree
and
that's
counting.
going to be
Yes.
planted for sure. Wonderful. Well, Rocky, it's been a real pleasure having you here. Thank you for your encouraging words
Thank
and your
you.
inspiration. And we look forward to your concert.
Thank you very
and all the
much.
best for all the work that you're doing.
Thank you
Really.
very much.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you very much.